Bryce Canyon National Park is one of the mighty 5 national parks in Utah and is famous for its stunning views and unique rock formations known as hoodoos. The park has some of the most iconic views in the southwest and is a place you must visit if you're in the area. My dad and I spent 24 hours in the park, and we drove the scenic drive to all the viewpoints, took in the sunrise and the sunset, and hiked through the Queen's Garden Navajo Loop Trail. Here's all the information so you can explore this beautiful spot as well, and let me know if I left anything off in the comments. Saying goodbye to our hotel, and we are heading out to watch the sunrise in Bryce Canyon. We got an early start and we headed towards Inspiration Point to watch the sunrise. It's a nice refreshing 24 degrees in Bryce for our sunrise point, and look, we're the only people who are apparently dumb enough to be at Bryce for sunrise right now.
There's a lot of confidence in this point.
Yeah, being the second person shows up, that shows that we're at the right spot. Inspiration Point, elevation 8,100 feet. A little bit of sunrise just starting. It's gonna be nuts to see the sun light up those hoodoos down there. My friend Kirby told me that Inspiration Point was one of the best places for sunrise, as you get to look down into the amphitheater and across all the hoodoos. Check it out, we got the moon setting on that side, while the sun is rising on this side. Pops is staying at this lower one because it's very icy on the trail. So I'm gonna go up and check out the upper one now. I don't know if we're gonna get great light or not because it's a little cloudy, but even just that is incredibly cool. If you do this in the winter like we did, be sure to bring traction devices. We made it up to the upper portion of Inspiration Point. Man, this view is incredible. Look at how it looks down on the Bryce Canyon Amphitheater. It's cool to be down there where Sunrise Point is, but up here you just get this amazing view looking down. Sunrise Point is the most popular spot for sunrise due to the name, but I have to say this is pretty hard to beat. Looks like we struck out with the sunrise. The clouds are not gonna let it break through, but man, this view is worth getting up for. This is so cool. After soaking in the view from every angle possible at the top of Inspiration Point, I started the icy walk back to where Pops was hanging out. Can you see the tiny people on the viewpoint up there? That's where I was standing to watch the sunrise. Since the clouds were low to the horizon, we decided to wait just a little bit longer to see if the sun would peek through and light up the amphitheater. Luckily, our waiting was rewarded and we got to see one of the most stunning sunrises we saw on our entire trip. It's crazy how much the colors change on the hoodoos in the amphitheater with only 15 minutes of waiting. We didn't exactly get the sunrise that we wanted, but that was still pretty incredible.
A bad sunrise here is amazing.
Yeah, at least we got to see the sun come up and kind of light up this area, so.
Yeah, the colors are beautiful, how they change with the sun coming up.
We're back at Sunset Point where we were at last night, and we were hiking out on the Navajo Loop Queen's Garden Trail. I'm pretty excited as this is my first time ever getting to hike down into the canyon here. I've only seen the viewpoints, so it should be pretty fun. We're gonna end up here at Sunset Point, but we're going over to Sunrise Point and then down into the canyon. This trail is probably the most popular in the park as it takes you down into the canyon. It's only about 3 miles round trip with 700 feet of elevation gain, but it is steep getting back out of the canyon. We're half mile into the trail left from Sunset Point, and we have made it to Sunrise Point. Also note, if you go in the summer, this trail is incredibly busy and it can be hard to even park here. In the winter though, we only passed maybe 6 or 7 people the entire time we were on the trail. Leaving Sunrise Point, heading out on the Queen's Garden Trail. As the trail descends, you get amazing views out towards the backcountry of Bryce. It was crazy to see the colors with the snow as you had red, orange, greens, and even white all throughout the distance. Approaching the hoodoos with Pops. Look Look at this view. Hoodoos in front of us, hoodoos with snow out there. There's one that's like really white. Wow. Crazy that all the roots are growing above the ground. As we descended down into the canyon, both my dad and I were blown away by how beautiful the views were. The landscape here is unlike anything I had ever seen before, and it's one of the most unique trails you'll find in any of the United States national parks. This isn't the main trail that we're on, but we pulled off because how could you not want to look at that? There's Sunset Point right there. That's our end goal for the hike. We're back after a short excursion to that hoodoo, and we are heading into the Queen's Garden, which is supposed to be one of the best places in Bryce Canyon. Definitely plan some time to go through this section, as the Queen's Garden has some of the best rock formations you can see up close. As you make your way down, there's multiple little tunnels through the rocks that you have to cross through. Unfortunately, they were a little short for how tall my dad is. Pop says that this one looks like a rhino with a rhino nose.
And the one behind it is a flame.
I think it looks more like a turkey. I won't argue with the flame though, but you know, comment which one you think is correct.
Yeah, it's totally a rhino.
This area has so many fun rock formations that it's great for families or just adults arguing over what rocks look like. Here's our second tunnel of the day. We're gonna see if Pops bumps his head on this one as well. You'd think that being 6'7" for your whole life, you would notice when that one had enough clearance for you. The unique look of the hoodoos is caused by rain entering into many of the cracks and crevices, freezing and then expanding, causing some of the rocks to fall off and create these formations. Officially heading into the Queen's Garden. So we got the Queen's Rock, which is right in front of us, but I will show you from the other angle. And then we also have, I hiked the hoodoos benchmark. All right, so I guess this is the Queen Victoria Rock. You can't really see it from the other side, so I guess this is as good as it gets. I don't know, do you see it? Let me know in the comments. After taking the short spur to the Queen's Garden area, it was back on the main trail. Also, if you take a picture and confirm you hiked at least 3 miles in the park, when we were there, they were giving you a sticker at the visitor center for doing so. I don't know how long this will last, but it was a pretty cool little thing to do. What really makes this trail cool is that I think anytime you would come down here, you would see something different. The way the light plays off of all of the stones, it's never the same. This is a totally different section we're in. It's like forested, not as distinct rock formations, but still really pretty. When you get to this section, you lose the rock formations and it's just a flat walk under the trees. We've been walking downhill through the forested, snowy area, but now it's time to climb out of the canyon and go back in the hoodoos. Made it back to the split with Navajo Loop and Wall Street, but Wall Street's closed, so we're taking Navajo Loop up to Sunset. Here we go, a half mile to climb all the way out of the canyon.
Piece of cake, no problem.
From here, it's uphill all the way to the top of the canyon. Leaving the forest behind and entering a cool area of hoodoos again. As you get back to the hoodoos, be sure to watch for the sign that points towards 2 bridges. This area is called 2 Bridges. You can see 1, 2. It's only a short walk off the trail and it's worth seeing. All right, we're heading up to Sunset Point, the last uphill. In the winter, this is the area you have to use to get to Sunset Point, but in the summer you can take the Wall Street Trail. This is one of the most iconic trails in the park, but unfortunately only open a few months out of the year, and I've never actually got a chance to do it. Got a good climb on switchbacks. Note that if you go the way we did, it's definitely a steep incline when you're climbing out. If you go the other way, it's less of a steep incline, it's more gradual climbing out. A lot of people were doing this route counterclockwise as it's steep going down but more gradual going out. It's up to you which way you decide to do. You can see the hoodoos again. Saying goodbye to the switchbacks, and we are almost back to the rim. Wow. Man, this park is beautiful. This is a famous formation known as Thor's Hammer. It's one of the most iconic in the park. Let me know in the comments if you can see him holding the hammer up. From here, we are basically back up to Sunset Point, but I wanted to check out Wall Street before making it fully to the top. Even when the Wall Street area is closed, you can still come over and peek this little viewpoint right here. There's the rim of the canyon right there. We made it back up to Sunset Point.
That hike is magical. I loved it.
Magical. Pop says it's magical, so you gotta come and do it. I would agree though, especially that section down there, that Queen's Garden area, absolutely incredible. All right, now we're leaving Sunset Point and we're heading to do all the other viewpoints in Bryce before leaving the park. The scenic drive is about 17 miles each way, and there's a ton of viewpoints along the way that you can see. I figured I'd just stop and show you all the viewpoints along the way. So this is the first one, it's Swamp Canyon Overlook. It was really windy and cold when we were here, so I didn't record any audio while at the viewpoints. I'll just show you a couple clips of each one so you can see which ones you want to stop at. Next up, we got Fairview Point. Viewpoint number 3 is Natural Bridge. This is definitely my favorite of the viewpoints on this drive. How do you beat an arch when you're that close to it? Look, we found a hoodoo that looks like the Olympic torch. Next up, we have Agua Canyon. This is also a great viewpoint with another famous rock formation right in front of you. Next up, Ponderosa Point. After Ponderosa Point, we finished the scenic drive, reaching Rainbow Point. We made it to the end of the road, Rainbow Point. It is windy and cold. We wanted to stay here longer and to hike the trail that took us to the ancient bristle cones, but unfortunately the trail was covered in snow and it was freezing cold with wind when we were there. Because of that, we just walked around the point, soaked in the views, and then headed back to the warm car. This is a great scenic drive, and the Rainbow Point area is the highest point in the park. So there's the hike to the ancient bristle cones here that we wanted to do, but it's like 25 degrees with 20-mile-an-hour winds. So we're not doing that. We're gonna head on out of the park. Leaving Rainbow Point, we drove 17 miles back into the main part of the park and headed over to Bryce Point, which was the last of the viewing areas that we hadn't seen yet. This is our official last stop in Bryce Canyon National Park. It is Bryce Point. Bryce Point is a great way to end your time in the park as it gives you a good view back towards the amphitheater and it is wheelchair accessible. When we did our hike earlier, we started from sunrise, we came all the way down into here, and then we came back up sunset. What's so crazy about the Bryce area is just how the sun changes things so quickly. Just a little bit of sun can make the colors pop or the shadows. It's just crazy how different it can be throughout the day. So we're technically finishing our time in Bryce Canyon here, but I'll play some shots from Sunset Point from last night in case you're in the park the entire day, you want to see the sunset there. We arrived at Sunset Point in Bryce about an hour before sunset the previous day.
That is crazy.
We had driven up from Zion and we rushed to try to get there before the sunset. Sunset Point. Watching the sun go down on the hills out there, and then watching this area get backlit. Pretty incredible. It's cool to see the colors right there where the sun's kind of lighting it up from behind. It was well worth it as it was beautiful to watch the light fade over the Bryce Canyon Amphitheater. From Sunset Point, you basically see a shadow extending out in front of you, or you can look to the right and you can see the amphitheater lit up by the setting sun. We spent about an hour and a half just soaking it all in before the sun finally went down, and if you get the chance, definitely take in a sunset at Bryce Canyon National Park. What do you think of Bryce?
It's amazing. Never seen anything like it.
You're blown away?
I'm blown away.
There's a last light going down in the canyon. Absolutely stunning. You have to see a sunset at Bryce if you get the chance. It is freezing now. The sun's not even fully down. That's it for our time in Bryce Canyon. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we will see you on the next video.